Welcome. Today we're going to be working on a little bit of hip and hamstring opening along with a little bit of glute focused work just to kind of strengthen our legs and our butt. So go ahead and join me today in hands and knees, tabletop position. Remembering here to hug in that nice low belly, stack those shoulders over the wrists. On an inhale, go ahead and hammock the belly, let the chest draw through the arms, maybe lift the gaze slightly. Exhale, round the spine, tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin. Inhale, let the belly hammock, tailbone slopes upward. Exhale, round the spine, tucking the tailbone. Do a couple more here, using your breath to guide you. If any place feels a little bit stiff or sticky, kind of just uncomfortable, maybe linger there a little bit or move around in that position so that you kind of can work out the spine. All right, and then when you're ready, go ahead and come to a nice neutral back. So remembering to hug in the low belly, keep the neck nice and long by slightly tucking the chin. You don't actually want to be looking forward, maybe about a foot in front of your hands. And from here, let's go ahead and tuck the toes, lift the hips, and find your way to your first downward facing dog. Go ahead and move around in it here. You want to pedal the feet, dipping one heel and then the other, coming up on the toes. Whatever, just kind of feels intuitively right for your body. And then when you're ready, go ahead and find some stillness in your pose. And on an inhale, go ahead and reach the right leg up high. Exhale, step through between the hands. Setting that back knee down. Letting your chest be heavy on their thigh. Finding a stretch in that left hip flexor. And even some stretch here in the right as well with that compression. Just taking a few breaths here. Letting yourself be heavy. And then let's go ahead and keep the legs as they are, but let's press the hips back, straightening that front leg. So we get a nice stretch here on our hamstring. Think of still hugging the low belly in. It'll actually help you be balanced here. And then you can either point or flex the toes, whatever feels nice, or maybe even fluctuate between the two. Gives you a little bit more of a dynamic stretch. All right, and then we'll shift it back forward to that low lunge here with the knee down. Then we'll tuck the toes in the back, lift that back knee, and then step back to down dog. Just readjusting yourself, getting comfortable in the position. Take a few breaths here, really focusing on the breath. On your next inhale, lift the left leg up high. Exhale, step up through between the hands. Go ahead and set the back knee down, letting yourself be nice and heavy over that left thigh. Letting the right thigh reach towards the ground. Head and neck can be nice and heavy as well. Try not to have any strain or tension there. And then we'll go ahead and shift the hips back, moving the hands back as well. straightening through that front leg. And then if, again, you want to find that little dynamic stretch, pointing and flexing the toes, can actually give you a nice calf stretch. You flex the toes back. And then we'll shift it back forward, plant the palms, tuck the back toe, lift that knee, step it back to downward facing dog. So inhale, lift the right leg high. Exhale, step through between the hands. Go ahead and set that back knee down. And then we'll shift the hips back, finding that half split. We'll shift it back forward. Tuck the back toes. Bring the hands a little bit here in front of the toes. This is a kind of a big transition. So really focus on kind of hugging your belly in to keep you balanced and really pressing strongly with this right glute. So on your next inhale, we're gonna lift that back knee. We're gonna press up. So left leg comes high for standing split. Crown of the head goes low. Really finding a nice stretch all along this part of your leg. And then your left leg is really being activated as you try to lift it against gravity. A couple more breaths here. Left knee's gonna come into the chest, so hugging it in really nice and tight. And then if you want, you could grab it, although that actually might be harder. Find a small bend in the right knee. Slowly with your gaze, start to come up. If you wanna grab the knee, go ahead and do that here. We'll hold here. So you can point or flex the toes, it'll help with the balance. And then from here, we're gonna come through to warrior three. So arms are gonna release. We're actually gonna press that left heel back towards the back of the room as the chest comes down towards your mat. Basically finding a T shape with your body. And then that left foot's gonna step itself back, finding crescent pose. And then we'll go to our Skandasana. So best transition is to pivot on the back foot, opening the hips towards the left side of the room. This foot's gonna be flat and parallel. Then you're gonna bend this knee nice and deep. Right leg's gonna go straight. Toes can flex up, or if you wanna keep them down, whatever is easier for you. I find that flexing my toes tends to engage my leg a little bit more and gives me more stability. Again, using the low belly, hands heart center. And then we'll place the right foot down, parallel to the left. Inhale, arms reach high. Exhale, fold forward. For a wide leg forward fold. Just taking a few nice, deep, slow breaths here. Then bringing hands to the hips, slight bend in the knee. You're gonna rise up to standing. Then heels are gonna tuck in a little bit. Toes are gonna point out towards the corners of your mat. And then we're gonna sink in nice and deep for goddess pose. So sinking really deep, think of pressing your knees outward. So not falling in, pressing them outward, really engaging your glutes here. Keeping the spine nice and tall. Hands can be here on the hips if you like. If you want to raise them up for more challenge, you can do that. But wherever you are, on your next inhale, go ahead and reach up, straighten through the legs. We're gonna pivot both feet to face the front. So try not to be on a balance beam here. Make sure you're about hips width distance apart. The back foot, your left foot can be at a slight angle towards the left corner of your mat. Arms reach up nice and high, folding forward with a nice flat spine for pyramid pose. So going only as far as you can to be relatively flat. And then the hands can either come to the leg or to the mat, depending on how much space you have. And then we'll bend that front knee, plant the palms, step back to plank, lower it nice and slow, and go through your vinyasa, or skip it, heading straight to down dog, and we'll get the other side. So inhale, left leg reaches high. Exhale, step through between the hands, letting that back knee drop. Nice and heavy on that front thigh. We're gonna press the hips back for half front split. And then we'll shift it back forward. So remember, hands come in front of the toes, tuck those back toes, lift the knee, and then really using the left glute, we're gonna press it up for standing split. Crown of the head goes nice and low, really engaging that right glute to lift the right leg, and lengthening through that left leg. Remembering to breathe here. And then right knee's gonna come into the chest, so really hugging it in, maybe pointing the toe here to help engage the leg. And then with your gaze, slight bend in the left knee. Let's slowly make our way up to a standing position. You can grab the knee if you like. Maybe have hands heart center. Focusing on your balancing here, something that's not moving. And we'll find our warrior three. So think of pressing that right heel towards the back of the room. Arms are gonna go like airplane wings as the chest comes forward. Really breathing here. And the right toes are gonna come to the mat, find a slight bend in the left knee. Right toes come to the mat for crescent pose. Then we'll move to our Skandasana, so pivoting on your back foot towards the right side of the room. Right knee's gonna bend deep, the left leg's gonna straighten. Hands can be heart center. And then left foot will come to the mat, parallel to the right. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, fold forward. Taking a few breaths here, recollecting yourselves. Hands can come to the hips, finding that slight bend in the knee with a nice flat back, rise all the way up to standing. Once we get there, heels are gonna come in, toes are gonna point out. We're gonna find our goddess pose. So again, hands can be on the thighs, near the hips, or they can be heart center. If you wanna reach up, that's your choice. Remember, no knees sinking in. You really wanna think of pressing your knees away from each other. Inhale, go ahead and rise up. We're gonna rotate and bring both toes to face the front of the mat. Remember not to be on your balance beam. So about hips width distance with the feet. With a nice flat back, engage that belly. You're gonna fold forward as far as you can until you can't anymore. And hands are gonna come to gently rest on your leg, the mat, or maybe onto your blocks. If you have blocks, you could use them here. Bending through that left knee, hands come to the mat, step it back to plank, lower nice and slow, find your cobra or up dog, press it back to downward facing dog. Really, really nice. From here, let's go ahead and set the knees down. We're gonna make our way onto our backs for our glute strengthening with one-legged bridge. So setting up here on your backs, feet hips width distance apart, knees as well. Having the heels close to the glutes. Arms are going to be down by the side, palms facing down. Let's start with our left leg as our pressing leg. So really you're going to think of pressing down with the heel as you lift up and press up with the glute. But you also want to have a feeling of pressing in. So we're going to actually straighten the right leg in front of us. It can be any height. For me, I find it's a little easier when it's about even with my pressing leg, as that way my hips are equal and not really twisted and tilting. So this is my starting position here. On an inhale, you're going to press through the heels. This is a lot of work here. That's okay. So hold it as long as you can. And when you're ready, go ahead and slowly set it down. We'll switch sides. So right foot plants. Take a few breaths. Recollect yourself. Left leg's going to extend in preparation. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, press firmly into that heel, lifting the hips. Think of really pushing in as well, in and up. Holding it as long as you can, and exhale, set it down. Whew, really nice job. We'll go ahead and bring the knees into the chest. Maybe rock a little side to side. And then we'll find happy baby pose. So keeping the knees hugged in. I like to find the outside of my feet, but I like to bring my arms inside of my knees. And then think of having my tailbone be really nice and heavy so it's not lifting up off the mat. Even though maybe it doesn't look as pretty, it's actually a little more effective as a stretch for those inner thighs and the hips. And then think of your soles of your feet pressing into the ceiling. And then drawing the knees towards the ground, best possible for you. Taking a few breaths here. When you're ready, go ahead and release. Knees back into the chest. Let's keep hold of the right knee, let the left leg go nice and heavy. Right arm comes out like a T, and then the right knee comes over towards the left side for a nice twist. Inhale back to center. Drawing both knees into the chest. Keep hold of your left knee, let the right knee go heavy. Left arm out like a T. And then we'll twist towards the right. Inhale, coming back to center. Drawing both knees into the chest. We'll give ourselves one last squeeze. Drawing the shoulders off the mat, the forehead towards the knees, squeezing everything in nice and tight, even maybe squeezing the eyes shut. Exhale, just let everything go nice and heavy onto your mat. Taking just a few moments here to let your practice sink in and quiet your mind. And then slowly, when you're ready, go ahead and make your way onto either side. Just pausing for a moment. And then when you are ready, you can slowly make your way up to a comfortable seated position. whatever that might look like for you. Maybe cross-legged, maybe on the shins. Sitting up nice and tall. Take one last big deep inhale, and then exhale, just let it all out. Thank you guys so much for practicing with me today. I hope that you enjoyed it. Just remember, keep coming back to your mat. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.